The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Uh, Hello. Oh, hey. I'm on. Okay. Hey. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I could say that like 12 times, 13 times. It's been like 2 or 3 years. My name is Lewis Dix. That's Dix, and of course, you're listening to In a Man's World. Now, as you noticed that we took a couple people's pictures off because you see me in the car and I drove by and they wouldn't get in the car. So that's what I've learned. So Jeff and TDP, and I'm sure Jeff is listening because he has nothing else to do. So, but Jeff and TDP jumped out of they wouldn't get in the car to come to the studio with me. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I was really good when I talked. I didn't talk to TDP. So TDP did what we did eventually here. First, before we go any further, let's just say we thank you for having us back, Poetess. Well, me. I don't know where everyone else is, but thank you. We jumped ship and then we started drowning, and then we realized it was better to swim back to the shore here at Morris Media. So we're happy that she was nice enough, and well, who she is, to say, hey, come on back, but let's do it the right way. So I was pulling up to grab Jeff and TDP didn't get in, and then Jeff, he didn't get in because TDP, he knows he wants to come back. He really doesn't have anything to do or say, but he's in his own world, and but I was really cool because at first I was going to be upset. Then I was like, no, hey man, cool. You know what? No problem. And he did text me earlier to say have a good show, which I am going to have a good one because they're not here. So and we have a bunch of, I made some phone calls with a bunch of great comedian friends of mine to come in because today's topic is going to be about comedy. So, and also, before I go any further, Aaron Gladman, good try. He sent me a link thank you for the memes, first of all, but he sent me a link of a show he does, which is a ripoff of our show, In a Man's World. It's a straight ripoff. But I listened to it, and I think he has like 4 guys, and they're country talented. So I'm not mad at them. You know, they're doing their best in their small little market, and I wish them the best. I'm sure the people are going crazy there and lining up. But I was kind of offended. And I was like, okay, good try, Aaron. You know, and Aaron's really trying to do a version of me. But you know, we'll call me and I'll give you some pointers, Aaron. Okay, but good luck to you and your boys. So comedy, stand up. That's what we're talking about. That's what I do. That's what Jeff does. TDP does it, and he writes. The comedy's do's and don'ts. Now, I have someone in the. We're gonna do like phone calls, and then we're gonna do Zoom because everybody's into the Zoom. And I hope everyone made it through the pandemic. And if you lost someone, we're sorry you lost some people. And if you were able to make it, God bless you. You made it. It's tough, and it was tough for everyone, except for the people who got those loans. And the people who collected a lot of unemployment. And for those of us comics who were struggling through it but made it, hey, we're on the other side. Let's just get back on the horse and ride. And I thank Craig Robinson for helping me go on the road with him. So I had a good time. So I was able to survive. And plus, I ever since I'm out of marriage, I don't have a big overhead. So I just got white sneakers. And for those of you interested, Code 3 sends her love. It's getting stronger and stronger. She's been like a campaign for Poetess. She just remembers all these dates and all these things about Poetess. So she's a cheerleader. That almost broke us up, but no. Okay, so listen, before I go any further, because I have a gentleman waiting, and he's busy. He's, just to tell you a little bit about him, he was born June 13th. I think that makes him a Cancer. I don't know, but he's from Queens, New York. And he been seen on The Tonight Show, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, Comedy Central. He was a judge on Last Comic Standing. He tours all over. He has a DVD special called Tall, Dark, and Funny. And he tours all over America and abroad. And he's just, and one interesting thing, he loves motorcycles and cars. And he had a crazy high-sided accident, they said. But we're going to talk to him about comedy and how he feels about the whole Dave Chappelle thing, and if it's some jokes that he wouldn't do. But I'm really happy because it was a late-minute call. And he said yes, and I was so happy he did. So if we can bring him in, Mr. Alonzo Bodden, just a nice. Hey, what's up, man? So
man, we got to update, get you an updated Wikipedia page. I've done a lot since then.
I know, and I thought about that when I was reading it, and then I said, I know it's more. I apologize for that.
Nah, no worries, man. I've done a couple more specials, and the motorcycle thing you read about, it's on my Wikipedia. I am very flattered by whoever wrote it because they had me racing Ducati bikes and stuff like that.
Right.
I was on the track and I crashed, but I am not by any means a professional motorcycle racer or anything close. But it was a flattering write-up, so I left it there.
Oh, is that so? So did you shatter your? I didn't even know SCAPH.
Scaphoid. Yeah, I broke my scaphoid. It's a little bone in the wrist, and it happens a lot. Like if you're falling and you put your hands down like this, it breaks. It's the little bone in the corner of your wrist.
It sounds worse though with the word.
Well, yeah. I mean, the way they wrote it up, like I said, very flattering. Made me sound really tough, like I'm out there risking life and limb. So you don't take that down.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Now I did read something else, and I wanted to ask you about it. It also said that you donated a kidney to your older brother.
Yeah. It's been, how long has it been? 8 years.
8 years. Now, was that a tough decision, or was no?
No, didn't even think about it. He was, he had a degenerative kidney thing going on, and his kidney function was dropping, and he had to go on dialysis. And I was like, if you need one, I'll give you one. And we did the test. We were compatible. We did the transplant. And the funny thing is now, today, his kidney function is higher than mine. And I was like, they gave you the good one. I'm taking it back.
Now, how does that affect you? Or does it?
Not at all. If you're healthy and you have two healthy kidneys and they remove one, it doesn't affect your body at all. As a matter of fact, there are people who are born with one kidney and they don't even know it until they get tested or something. Like, in other words, your body's functioning fine. So, it's, and believe me, man, they did more medical tests. I told them the testing was tougher than the transplant. They do every possible test before they transplant to make sure that you're going to be fine afterwards. So, yeah, I've been fine.
Okay,
no effect on
And
me.
your brother's good. Well, he's better than you.
He's good, too. Yeah, he's good. And the reason his function is higher is because he still has his two partially functioning kidneys plus my good kidney.
So he actually has 3?
3-1. He's winning.
Wow. Now, when you came out of that, did it go right into your comedy, or did you just...
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, so let's see. So they told me I would have to take a month off to recover, right? And you know how work is. You got to cancel stuff or this or that. So I had cleared the month of March of that year to do the surgery. Then a couple of weeks before the surgery, there was a little question they had, and they're like, we're not sure. We want to test you again on this or that. And I was like, look, I'm not canceling April. So if you want to do this, let's get it done. And the doctor said, you're the first person we've had fight to give a kidney, And I was like, I'm on a schedule. But Lou, they did the surgery. I was fine the next day. Got out of the hospital a day after that. And I think 5 days later, I was on stage. So I was actually glad that the surgery was delayed, because if I was healthy and had to sit around a month and not go on stage, you know how crazy we go in that situation. So I'm actually fortunate that they delayed the surgery for 2 weeks. I was down for a week and then back to work.
Now, you said that, it's interesting. You say, thank you for including me about not working and going crazy, because I'm not working. It's a different level. And we got to let people know it's a different level of comics like yourself who work. Like how many days out of the month? How many do you work? What's your?
I tell people I don't count it because I would go nuts. But so this is like a typical week. I just finished a weekend at Flappers in Burbank, right? So that was Friday, Saturday. Then I did a spot Tuesday night. I'm doing a spot tonight and a show tomorrow. So yeah, I get up on stage probably 4 nights out of 7, and I probably travel. Everything's crazy now, right? Because it's shut down. But pre-pandemic, I probably traveled 40 weeks out of the year. Not necessarily for the whole week. It might be a one-nighter. It might be 2 days. But yeah, my job is go to the airport, get on airplanes. I tell them they pay me to travel, and I tell the jokes for free.
What part of that do you enjoy? What's the best part of that? Getting to the city, the hotel. Do you enjoy that process?
Travel, and travel sadly has become worse over the years. Listen, Lou, I fly so much, and again, you know how this is. I'm a platinum member on United and Delta, and I have some kind of gold status or whatever on American, right? Because I fly so much. And I'm like, look, I'm platinum, and they treat me like trash. Like, I don't know what they're doing with Group 7. Group 7, I guess they just hit them with sticks and make them sit down. I don't know, because I'm platinum, and they ain't too crazy about me.
Really? Now, do you get profiled somewhat since you are, like, when you go into the clubs? Does that, the club where it's the platinum club where you can go eat and stuff? Do you?
No. I'll tell you the funny things that happen. TSA can be funny because I have pre-check and I have a thing called clear, right? So, in other words, I've been background checked, and normally I can go right through. But because of the way I travel and the way airlines work, a lot of times I'll have one-way tickets. In other words, if I got to go, say I got to go LA, Chicago, Newark, Miami, LA, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's cheaper to buy 4 one-way tickets than a circular ticket. That's just the way the airlines work. If you are a male with a one-way ticket, you are going to get, quote, random checked. Wow. That's a red flag in the system. So I deal with that. And it's funny when they recognize you and they're like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Where you going? Where you working this weekend? Okay, can you step over here and strip down?
And they still do it? They still do it. Wow. And then now you've learned just to roll with it. You don't get upset or...
The only time I get mad, sometimes it's, I don't know. It's ridiculous because it's so redundant, Mm-hmm. But normally I'm okay with it because, it's just part of it. And 90% of the time, if the airport has clear, not all airports have it, but if the airport has clear, they do that retinal scan, mm-hmm. and you go right through. They're like, yep, you're good. You've been background checked. And I also have that for getting in and out of Canada because I used to work in Canada a lot. It's a thing called Nexus. So again, they do a background check, but then you don't have to wait in the customs line. You just go through. So, I mean, when you travel all the time, you just learn to make it as easy as possible.
True. Now I saw the dog in the background. That's your the person you hang with, or not? Because people.
That is my pandemic puppy, man. He's a Great Dane, so he's still a puppy. He's still only 10 months old, even though he weighs about 130, 140. And yeah, he's my buddy at home and hangs out. He's actually doing what he does best, which is taking a nap, and that's why he can be here during the Zoom. If his energy's up, there's no way he could be here. He'd be all over me and the camera and everything else. But I love having a dog, man. I love having. I thought I'd be home more. I briefly had a radio gig like you. Didn't work out. Wasn't really my thing. But when I got it and I figured I'd be home, a friend said, "Yeah, you should get a dog. You're gonna be home." And we've worked it out. He's okay with me leaving on occasion. I put him up at a nice hotel. He's like, "All right, go do your thing. Come back and bring money and treats."
Now, it was interesting you mentioned that with the radio gig, because you know how we track each other to see who's working and what they're doing. And you're like, wow, maybe if he, because I heard that you had left, and I was like, oh, well, let me call and see if, but they filled your slot so quick over there with Don. I forgot who it was. You don't know who.
Yeah, Don Amici took over. I was doing afternoon drive. They moved Don from late night to afternoon. And then they brought in Brian Babylon. I don't know if you know Brian, brother from Chicago, used to do NPR. And he's doing the late night spot. You know, it was, I couldn't be in two places at once, you know. And my stand-up career, I mean, I'll be honest, listen, it was paying a lot better than radio was.
Got it.
So I couldn't, you know, miss radio, and they didn't have the remote facility set up the way it was supposed to be. It's a new station. It's a startup. It's Tavis Smiley's deal, KBLA 1580 in LA. And it's great. It just wasn't the right fit for me.
Good. Well, that was, well, you made someone else happy. Now you have a gig that made it fit for them. I wanted to ask you, and you guys who just joined us, we're Alonzo Bodden, comedian who's, don't go by his Wikipedia. There's more. What other specials are you doing that you've done so we can update that?
Well, so my first one was Who's Paying Attention. Tall, Dark, and Funny was a DVD. Then I did a special called Who's Paying Attention. And then that was on Showtime. Then I did another one on Showtime called Historically Incorrect. And my latest one on Showtime was called Heavy Lightweight, which was about 2 years ago.
So how long does it take you to prepare for a special?
Normally, you know, I do a lot of topical stuff, so I'm always writing. There's always new stuff coming up. But I would say normally about a year, although the last one I did, and I like challenges. So they called me in September and they said, hey, we're doing a series of specials. We'd like you to do one in December. So it's like, oh, okay, so can I mean, I had the material, but it was like, can I tighten it up and make it a TV thing in 3 months? And I was going on stage 5-6 nights a week just running it. And I felt good about it. But as always, and I don't know how much your audience knows this, but a comic is never satisfied. When we walk off stage, you're laughing and clapping, and we're thinking, damn, I should have said this. I forgot that one. And so of course, there was all of that second guessing, but you know, as I say, people seem to like me.
I think you're correct when it comes to comics that are professional and want to be good. These young boys think they destroy all the time, and it's not their fault; it's the audience fault. That's what I've learned. I've watched.
Yeah, and that's a fascinating thing, right? It's the audience, because when I came up, they taught me it's never the crowd. Like It's your job to find them. And I also know not everybody's going to like me. You know, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'll see some comics and they bombed. Like nobody's laughing. And they're like, yeah, that audience sucked. Like, no, nothing you said was funny. Right. That was the problem.
Yeah.
You have a lot of attitude. You have attitude and you have premises, but you didn't bring anything home.
Right, and they tell the audience, stand up, come on, give it to me. And I'm like, oh, you got to earn that, man. You got to earn it. I'm going to circle back. How did you get into comedy?
My first career was aerospace. I was an airplane mechanic, and that led to me training new mechanics. And when I was in front teaching a class, I always had a sense of humor, but it was fun to be up there and make them laugh. And the fear of public speaking that most people have, I didn't have that at all. It was just a natural thing. And after doing that for about 2 years, I was like, I want to do stand-up. And the girl I was dating at the time gave me this ad for a comedy writing class. and I did the class, and the graduation was a 5-minute spot, and I never looked back.
Now, who taught the class? Was it anyone?
A guy named Len Ostrovich, who used to write for Richard Jeni. Remember Rich?
Yeah, I remember Rich. Yeah, he committed suicide.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah,
sadly.
Yeah, it's.
And so anyway, Len was one of his writers, and he had this workshop in Santa Monica that we did.
Yeah, it's a. I'm gonna get to that later about so many comics who have just the way that their lives have ended is just crazy. I remember when.
I get it. I mean, it's tragic, but I understand it.
What do you mean by that?
And I've gone to therapy at various times in my life and in my career. But, we live a isolated existence, right? When you're working and you travel, like we're comics, we do it on our own. And unfortunately, I think what happens if you get that depression and that mindset that things are bad or getting worse or whatever, if you don't have the outside influence to put it in perspective, that's it.
Now, when you say outside influence, who do you, is that a person or a thing, or what do you mean by that?
People I talk to. You got to remember, like, I know. Do you know Mike Lacey?
No.
So Mike Lacey owns the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa. Iconic club, been around for, 40 years or whatever. And we're in the green room, and this was like Leno's home club and all the big names,
Right, it closed, didn't it?
Right, it's closed from the pandemic. It hasn't reopened yet. He doesn't know if it's going to reopen or not. But anyway, Leno, Ray Romano, every you name it, every big name comic, Arsenio, whatever, goes there. The green room is a great hang or whatever. And Mike was talking to us one time, and he said, you comics, he's like, you don't realize how great you are. He said, because you will sit here and you look at Jay Leno or Ray Romano and you say, man, I don't have a hit show. I don't have $100 million. He said, go back to your high school. Go back to your high school and see how many people have been on television. Go back to your high school and ask how many people pay their mortgage by telling jokes. You're doing okay. And that's what I mean. You need that kind of influence to remind you, right? Because we're always looking up at the next level, and we never look behind us at what we've achieved. Right. And that's what I mean by perspective.
Good point. I wanted to ask you, because here on this show, In a Man's World, we say things that people normally wouldn't say. We try to be direct and honest, as if just a couple men sitting around talking. We don't even allow women on the show. We have a female producer who runs her company, but she's sometimes she corrects us, and we allow that because she's the boss. But other than that, because I'm listening to you and you mentioned Jay Leno and all that, and I'm sure a lot of people who are listening would say, hey man, he must hang with nothing but white people.
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, I'm wondering what I would say, okay, the way he talks, so because they get on me about speaking so clearly, and he must not have any black friends, and if he dates a girl, she's got to be white.
That is very frustrating, and that came up early in my career. So here's the thing, Lou, and you may or may not have dealt with this, right? I'm mainstream as a comic. I am mainstream from a black point of view. That would be the way I would describe it. Growing up, when I was a kid, I grew up in Queens. I was bused to white schools. Mm-hmm. I joke, and it's true though. I was bused before it was an issue. Okay. And I ain't gonna lie, I got a better education. They put more money into white schools. Right. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but the truth is I got a better education. And that doesn't have to do with speaking or language or anything. That's just like everything was better, right? Because they put more money into white schools. My comedy career, when I started in the 90s, like I say, I was more mainstream. Let's say I was more Cosby than Pryor, right? Mm-hmm. Without the raping. I hate that because Cosby destroyed an incredible comedy legacy. But anyway, that's another story.
Right. But anyway, he's a good friend of mine, so I cringe when I spent a lot of time with him, and I'm still trying to put that.
I think that's one of the tragedies is that his legacy was destroyed. But again, that's another discussion. But if I had to be one or the other, that's the side I was on. And I would work some Def Jam rooms and black rooms and get booed, and two guys, a guy named Speedy, an LA comic, and Cedric the entertainer, were both like, yo, man, do what you do. Don't worry about them. You do you. They were like, you're already at the Laugh Factory. Most of these guys, they ain't getting up at the Laugh Factory. You're already in, and this and that, which boosted my confidence. Later on, in the past, I don't know, 5-7 years, whatever, now that I've become one of the old heads, one of the old vets, I've had young comics come up to me and say, man, I'm glad I saw you because you were a black comic not doing stereotypical black comedy. When I met Franklin Ajay, I was like, Franklin, thank you. Because he was that.
Yes.
It is unfortunate that we as black people will quite often take the most negative stereotypes about us and require that to be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one of the problems that we've had in representation is the spectrum of black people is tremendous. We're not all from the hood. Right. We're not all banging. We're not, you know what I mean? Yes. Like it is from, Barack Obama's black.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's, I had a whole bit about that, about Obama made nerds cool, and nerds were like, guys were like, yo, man, I was about to whip your ass, but then I realized you might be president one day, and I need a friend, right? So it was tough. I'm not going to lie. It was tough in the first years of my career not being accepted by parts of the black community, but ultimately it's okay. And now the spectrum has widened so much that it's, I am who I am, and I appreciate the love and respect I get from the black community. And it is unfortunate that and I find it, black people, our community does it more so than others. I've worked a ton of Latin rooms. I've done Jewish shows in temples, you know what I mean? And I don't see Jewish people saying, hey, you're not Jewish enough to a Jewish comic, or to a Mexican comic, you're not Mexican enough, you're not Puerto Rican enough. I don't see it. But unfortunately, we do that to ourselves sometimes, and I'm glad we're growing out of it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I got a few more minutes. I wanted to, because the whole Dave Chappelle thing, which we're going to, at the end of that, has there ever been a subject that you won't touch?
There's a person I have a hard time with, Condoleezza Rice, because I can't figure her out. Condoleezza Rice grew up in segregated Alabama, yet she is completely right-wing and protecting white people and white privilege and white, she just recently said that we shouldn't teach critical race theory because we might make white kids feel bad. But the thing about her, she's not a clown, right? Like, Ben Carson's a clown, Herman Cain is a clown, that sheriff from Milwaukee, the guy who wears a cowboy hat, right? They're all clowns. I can make fun of them because I don't respect them. Their whole opinion's full of it. But she is an intelligent, professional person, and I just don't understand it. And I've never been able to make the joke, because to treat her like a clown, like, no, she's not. I just don't understand her thinking. But as far as topics, no, man, there's funny in anything. And I've been doing a fair number of these interviews about Dave Chappelle. Maybe it's like you said, I'm the black comic that they're comfortable with, so they call me for NPR and MSNBC. They're like, he's okay. And finally I said, listen, man, at last I checked, Lou, my remote still works. If I don't like Dave Chappelle, I'm going to go ahead and change the channel. Listen, I don't like Tucker Carlson, so you know what? I don't watch Fox News. The people complaining about Dave, I'm going to say probably at least half of them haven't watched the special.
Got it.
They haven't watched it. They're just talking because they heard that. I don't think he did anything that was particularly anti-transgender, and he definitely explained at the end why he has his point of view, and I think that's the important thing. This is Dave Chappelle's point of view. This is not Dave Chappelle telling you what to think. Dave Chappelle is not a lawmaker. Dave Chappelle is not a governor or any. Dave Chappelle is a comedian with a point of view. a strong point of view, and if that bothers you, I don't know what to tell you, because here's the thing. Say they did it. Say the trans community at Netflix got Dave's special pulled, right?
Right.
Well, then what happens when some other comic does a joke, or somebody says something that somebody trans says something that somebody black doesn't like, or somebody trans says something that somebody Jewish doesn't like? Does that community get to shut down a trans person? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't like, right-wing Klan Proud Boy assholes,
Right.
But unfortunately, in this country, they're entitled to have a voice. Now, they're not entitled, I don't think they should be entitled to bring rifles to a protest march, And by the way, they never use them. They're the most cowardly. I love when they bring their rifle to a suburban supermarket.
Right.
I'm a badass. Like, no, you're not.
Right.
You're at Ralph's in
Right.
Sherman Oaks. You ain't that tough.
Right.
Go to the hood and carry your rifle and tell everybody, shut up.
Right.
But,
I'm with you.
But
No,
they
go ahead.
have the right to do it, and Dave has the right to say what he wants to say.
I agree with you, and I appreciate you saying that. Before I let you go, I want to ask you one last question. Who do you miss the most who's no longer with you?
Personally, or in the comedy world?
Personally, in the comedy world.
Personally, my mother.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was the funniest person I've ever known, and I miss laughing with her.
Mm-hmm.
In the comedy world, two guys were gone way too soon. Robin Harris and Patrice O'Neal.
Right. Two vicious ones. Yeah. Hey, listen, Alonzo, I truly thank you for taking the time to come out, man, and listen and zoom in on me. Take care. I hope to be able to call you again and we can talk some more. And
hit me up whenever, man. My
Okay.
pleasure. I love talking comedy, and we could talk man to man and any other issue that might make people upset. Let's go for it.
All right. Thank you, man. Take care. Be safe.
You too, brother.
All right. That was Alonzo Bodden. I didn't mean to tell you, Pete, that, I think Buddy's at the gate. But right now, we're going to go ahead and go right into it. I thank Alonzo, but my main man, Alex Thomas, is on the line. Alex.
Man, so you just got us lined up this morning?
Hey, man, you know what? I did not know people cared, would do that. I thought they would say, nah, Lou, I'm busy. But, yeah. How are you, Alex?
I am doing great. I am on my way to go play some golf with a few of my buddies. And I'm on the freeway right now, riding, talking smack with my boy Lewis Dix.
Now, who are you on the links with?
Today I am playing. Do you know Michael Ralph?
Yeah, I know Michael Ralph. Yeah, very well. I mean, not very well. We have, but on the shows, I did warm up, and he was always an actor.
Right. And then his sister's Shirley Ralph.
Yeah, Shirley. Oh, Shirley's playing?
No. She's not playing. We're playing with another guy. He's got it's a black man, a black owner of a huge golf line. It's called Deuce Premium, and they're actually in all the PGA stores now. He has an accessory line for golf accessories like hats and gloves, and he's in GQ magazine. It's kind of a big deal in the golf world because you don't see a lot of black designers in the golf black world. So we're playing with the owner of that today, and just networking, man. I got a few things going on right now, network-wise with a golf show that I created. So playing with a producer, just doing what we do.
Now let me ask you a question, because so many comics golf. My dad loves golf, and I'm not really a golfer, but does a lot of business deals take place out on the links?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I'm going on my 25th year of playing golf now.
Wow.
So people are always asking me, like, so when did you start playing golf? I'm like, the year every black man in America started playing golf, 97, when Tiger won the Masters.
Now, how is your game? How would you categorize your game, or where are you?
You know what? For a comedian, I'm not bad. I'm a 12 handicap. I've been playing 25 years. I got one hole in one. But for me, Lewis, it's not even really about whether I'm good or bad. It is the camaraderie and the relationships that I've got through golf. What a lot of people don't know about me, for the last 10, 15 years of my life, golf kind of turned into a comedy hustle for me. I almost made more hosting professional athletes tournaments than to go to Miami to do 6 shows at the Miami Improv, or going to Dallas, or to have to do the Improv for 4 shows. Like, I'm around a lot of, I mean, as you know, some of the richest people in the world play golf, right?
Right.
And 95% of all pro athletes have foundations.
I see.
Whether they are giving money to cancer or autism or, battered women, whatever it is, they all are trying to raise money. And they always, since the Bob Hope days, have had comedians.
Yeah, he said he's driving around back now. I'm sorry. Your boy, Buddy Lewis, is coming in the studio live, and he didn't know. Comics have a tough place to know where to come. Now, who is the best? Who is, out of all the comics, who's the best golfer? Who's the best? Who's the top?
Well, that's a tough one. I will tell, because not only is Buddy my friend, some things you just can't talk shit about. Oh, can I cuss on here?
Yes, you can cuss.
Okay. Buddy Lewis is definitely up there with some of the top comedian golfers. But let me finish what I'm saying before I go there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
When I say it's not about me being the best, the relationships that I have made, that I've been able to flip into multi-million-dollar business, is what I'm concerned with. I'm telling you, Lewis, if I was horrible, the one thing I have on my side, I'm going to hang with somebody for 4 hours, and they're going to love me at the end of the round. God, this guy's funny. God, he has a great personality. Look, what is it that you need? And that has been the great thing for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
The relationship in golf is also the great equalizer. So, for example, say I played in when would I ever be hanging out with these type of people? So, for instance, one time a foursome was Will Smith, Joe Pesci, Wayne Gretzky, and me.
Wow.
Out of Will Smith, Joe Pesci, Wayne Gretzky, and me, I'm the broken. Okay? let's just say, I'm just throwing out numbers. Let's just say Wayne Gretzky has $200 million in the bank. Let's say Will Smith has $400 million in the bank. And let's say Joe Pesci has, $97 million in the bank. And let's say I just got $1 million in the bank, right?
Right.
For 4 hours, none of that matters. We're all trying to get this little white ball in this hole. When guys see you can play golf, and then you got some personality and you're fun to be around, next thing you know, you're sitting on the 19th hole having a drink, and they're either going to love you or they're going to like you. In my case, these people end up loving me. But when would I have ever been around these 4 guys for 4 hours? That's what golf is. That's what golf is.
Yeah, the only time I guess you'd be around Will for 4 hours is during warm-up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. In Will's case, it's different because he's the dude that invited me, and I've been friends, and I wrote on his show for years and all that. But you get my point. I could go for hours. I mean, I played with Clint Eastwood a couple of months ago at my country club. Like, when would I ever be hanging around with that guy?
Okay, wait, I can't let you get past that. Wait, I can't let you get past that. You're a member of a country club.
Yes, I'm a member of a country club called Sherwood Country Club. It's one of the most prestigious country clubs in America. Jack Nicklaus designed it. There's only, put it this way, if there's 400 members, there's about 25 black people. And out of the 25 black people, I'm the broken. You know what I mean? Will Smith is a member. Chris Paul is a member. Obama, Tiger. So there's not a whole lot of us. But from little old Alex Thomas to being there, it's kind of a slight sense of accomplishment.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, you're the guy that you just gave a compliment to as one of the top golfers in your group just sat down. Put on your headphones. That's Alex Thomas is on the phone.
Who?
Alex. Buddy Lewis, Alex Thomas, and
Buddy Lewis, I will be with Buddy Lewis tonight doing his show at the J Spot. And Buddy is not only one of the funniest dudes on the planet. His personality, his laughter is contagious, and anything Buddy Lewis asked me to be at, whether it's a barbecue in the backyard or golf, I'm there.
Yes, sir. We going to the J Spot tonight for 2 shows. Alex is going to be there 8 and 10:30. 5581 South Manchester. Pros Night Out. Lewis, you've done it before.
We only have like 7 listeners, so you really don't have to promote this.
You know what? The disrespect you're showing me. You probably got about 10 because I'm on the radio now.
You're right. You and Alex have probably brought in 50-something plus more.
I just want to let you know the level of disrespect right now is palpable in the room. That I don't have more than 7 followers. When I told people I was coming down here, you got at least 15 people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Unlike Shane, when Shane calls, you get 17.
17.
So, because Alex is on his way to golf. He's driving right now.
Can I ask you guys both, where the hell are you? It sounds like you were in the back house in Michael Williams' house right now.
No. We're at. It's probably because we're not holding our mics up, but we're at Morris Media Studios, run by Poetess, and that's over off of Crenshaw and Homeland.
Same thing. That is Michael Williams' backyard.
It's what? Oh,
Stop
touching the mics. See,
Yeah, you can't touch nothing in here.
No, that's how fine this is. Yeah. So
the equipment is very, very highly tech.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to give a big shout out to my girl, OG Poetess, in the building because she is a legend. She's beautiful. She's a black woman.
Still
and
fun,
radio,
too.
And I just got to say that. I go back my whole entire career with Poetess.
Yeah.
Oh, now, how does that? What do you mean you go back with your? How does that work?
I mean, like meaning when I first got into this business, when I first was doing like little small radio interviews and this and that, if I can remember, it was either K-Day or KGFJ. I don't know. Maybe she can help me out. Where was that? I mean, I'm talking like when Tupac was alive, back when, all that.
The beat.
Night Beat.
Dominique DePrima.
KJLH. All these other radio stations we shouldn't be bringing up while we're on his.
Alex, it was 92.3 The Beat, but thank you so much for the shout out.
Thank you. And POTUS, didn't you and Dominique DePrima used to work together?
Yep.
I got a good memory, and that was that like 93, 4, 5?
Yep, I was at The Beat 93, and I think Dominique was there around the same time, 94.
So
okay, just making sure that y'all, I'm on point.
We try to, on this show in the Man's World, we try to limit the female voice. So that's enough of that, Alex. Thank you. We try to keep things male. And
so get me in trouble with my wife, Lewis Dix.
No. You already said you got 3 kids. You ain't in no trouble. You done.
Hey,
you locked in, buddy.
Hey, first of all, if you know what, she ain't going nowhere. So with them 3 kids, she ain't going nowhere, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
She going to hang on in there. Even no matter how bad things get, she going to hang on in there, Alex, with you. All right? You got 3 babies.
Yeah. Now, how old are your kids, Alex?
My kids are 6 years. My daughter is 6. My one son is 3, and another son is 1.
Hey, Lewis, and me and his wonderful wife, Brazy, we have a special kind of love-hate bond relationship. We love and we hate each other at the same time.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, we go after each other. So you can tell Brazy, I said, Alex, tell her this exactly, quote, she ain't going nowhere. Who else gonna want her after you leave, Alex? You tell her I said it.
Now, my understanding is Alex gave his kid a crazy birthday party.
He always listen, that is Alex's claim to fame, the crazy birthday party, whether it's his own or somebody else's. Alex is one of those, I'm going 50-50 crazy, straight up. My kids gonna know I love them. My wife's gonna know. He goes all out.
I think it's 51-50.
Whatever it is.
You know what I think it is, you guys? And I'm being honest, I'm not trying to bring it down.
Alex likes that stuff.
Because I didn't get that as a kid, I wanted to make sure my kids had shit that I didn't.
Now, because you grew up in South Central LA, right? Now, because Alonzo Bodden was on earlier, and I read the Wikipedia, and he said it needed to be updated.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading, because everybody knows Alex was in the Players Club and BAPS, and he was in Mr. Box Office. And I thought about the thing, South Central. a menace to society. Don't be a menace to society. But then I read the whole thing. It says, don't be a menace to society to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Nobody ever says the whole title.
Nobody says the whole title. And it's long and comical just saying it.
Yes.
It's hilarious. There were a whole bunch of people in that movie.
Yeah, it was a lot of people in that movie, Alex, that some made it and some didn't.
Right.
Because Keith Morris was in it, right?
Yeah, Keith Morris, Chris Spencer, there's a whole bunch of people.
Keith Morris,
Okay.
what's so funny is that case, I'm driving over
Thank
these
you.
mountains, you guys, so if I cut out, I hope I don't cut out. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, it'll be because Brazy heard this.
Keith Morris it was almost like, so first of all, Don't Be a Menace was also not only the first movie I was in, it was one of the first movies I wrote on. Because Keenan Ivory Wayans, like all of us, we were like a young boot camp of young comics, and he made us write and rewrite that movie almost 2 to 3 times. I'm talking like the movie was supposed to come out one year, but he didn't like it the way it was written. He made us rewrite the whole movie like literally twice before it was right? And he didn't care if there was too many jokes or this, that. It was slapstick. It was our effort in our generation of the movie that we grew up watching, which was Airplane and Naked Guns, and I know you guys saw all those, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't.
So
But
that was our attempt at some slapstick ghetto shit, and man, it ended up being a hood classic. There is not a black person in the world between the ages of 25 and 50 that did not see that movie. You know what I mean? But since you brought up Keith Morris, we were just fucking around joking at the writing table one night. And because, me and Daryl, we were the only ones in the room that did all the nigger rooms. You know what I mean? So, Chris Spencer, Sully, Marlon Wayans, Sean Wayans, none of them were coming to the Comedy Act Theater. None of them were coming to the Townhouse. None of them were putting out all the hood shit that me and Daryl were doing. So we told them about this nigga named Keith Morris, and he would be great for these little 3 lines because he already looked like a real crackhead to us.
hilarious. Hey, Alex.
We said this wouldn't be a stretch for that nigga.
Hilarious. Hey, Alex, I had heard, and it's good I'm talking to you to confirm it, that you have a business with backpacks for the stars, the celebrities. Is that true?
Yeah, how'd you know about that?
Well, I just hear about it all. Anytime I say, well, he says, man, Alex is set, man. He sells backpacks to stars. That's what they, whenever you inquire about another comic.
Well, now that you said it that way, now I have to clear it up for you.
Okay.
I'm not the way you made it sound is like I also sell weed and mixtapes.
No. No.
You said it like sell, like find me on the corner of Slauson and Crenshaw tonight at about 6:30, 7:15.
No,
I get your knockoff bag.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
I got Nipsey Hussle socks in instance also.
No.
Draws and pit bull puppies.
Well, could you explain it to us and what does that entail? Because I know it's a lucrative business.
All right, so I'm gonna just make it real quick. It's the quickest way I can, and I never talked about it with comics.
Okay,
some of my best friends didn't even know that I did it because I had to take a completely different route with this business. I knew I was gonna be around a bunch of haters. I knew I was gonna be around people that go, "What does he know about fashion?" I knew I was going to be around people that go, "Can I get something for free?" So, with that being said, long story short, we're the only black-owned high-end custom accessory line in the world. We're going on 12 years of business now. It's called the Lewis Stewart Collection. We are all over the world. Yes, I have 65% of the NFL, the NBA, everybody from Michelle Obama to Oprah to Rihanna to every superstar you can think of that has supported us. It's very, very high end. So at the beginning of the business, when I first started, I had to take a page out of the white folks' books and leave my face and name out of it. Like, when people started finding out about it and hearing that I was the owner, then I was like, okay, there's nothing we could do about it because now the good word is going. Now Rihanna's going on TV bringing my Bieber, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Kanye is bringing my name up because people were proud of me. They looked at it like almost like Jay-Z and Diddy. You knew them as rappers, and and they both were successful rappers. Then all of a sudden, they both had these two super successful clothing lines. One was Sean John, one was Rockaware, right? But the difference between me, Diddy, and Jay-Z, when they were at their peak of hot, you could drive down Sunset and you would look up and you see Jay-Z on a billboard wearing his own jeans. You'd be in the airport or you'd be in Times Square in New York and look up at a billboard and there's Diddy wearing his jeans. I never did that. I didn't put my face with the product because I knew I would have haters. And people say there's people out there that don't like me. They wouldn't buy the backpack because I don't like that nigga Alex Thomas. I had to use the Jedi mind trick on people. And when it started to make millions of dollars and it started to blow up, then people started finding out, wait a
Yeah, no, the other Jedi mind trick, Alex, the other Jedi mind trick you put was when I asked you what was the price of a backpack.
What does it go for?
Oh, man, listen, I might as well have gone into the Versace store in Caesar's Palace.
I don't know how much a Versace thing.
Bro,
well, you got to understand. Here's our
it's
thing.
high end.
When a nigga walks into the Gucci store, do you go, why is that sweater $800?
No.
When you walk into the Fendi and the Louis Vuitton store,
Hey.
you go, why is that backpack $3,500?
Alex.
We're the only people that question that.
No.
I
I don't. No, what I was joking was that I couldn't afford it.
No. You're my favorite, but you know what I'm being serious. What I'm saying is this: it was custom work, right? This is real gator. This is real leather. This is, and the beautiful thing about it is I have the check stubs of a Dr. Dre that spends $40,000 with me. That of a Justin Bieber that's over the years has spent $200,000-$300,000 with us. I have these people of that caliber. They understand high end, and it is what it is. It's almost like we always say, we all got watches, but not everybody got an I-style Rolex. We all got a car, but not everybody has a Lamborghini. We're not knocking you if you can't afford a Lamborghini. We're not looking down on you if you can't afford an I-style Rolex. We're just saying that's not for you, and you work your way up to that. There's levels to the shit. So with me having to put the word high end and having to look somebody right in their face and say, yes, that backpack is $5,000, I knew I wasn't going to be able to talk to my friends. So long story short,
Now, hey, Alex, let me ask you a question. Given the success with that venue, did it enhance your stage presence, your comedy, to say I can just now be an artist in that venue? How did that work?
I'm happy you brought that up. First of all, if it hadn't been for my relationships and the success that I had in stand-up comedy and TV and movies, I wouldn't have been able to make millions of dollars in that business. Because at the very beginning, it was all my relationships that got us out in the high-end rich world before we got to Europe, before we got worldwide, right? Now, me being the stand-up comic, I can tell it was eating up comics. They'd be like, nigga, I just saw you in a video with Kanye West and Dave Chappelle talking about bags, and you're at the Ha-Ha tomorrow night. You're doing a show at Maverick Flat, because you're not understanding. I am truly one of those guys that didn't forget where I came from, and I still love the craft of stand-up comedy. The comedy never stopped with me, and I never crossed the two. Meaning, I could have went, and I'm not even, and only because, nigga, it would be something like this. I would shows at, say, the Improv, a Friday and a Saturday night. And let's just say for 4 shows, I made $6,000 being a stand-up comic. But guess what? I left Dallas with $200,000 because I got 21 dudes on the Dallas Cowboys to buy these backpacks, these duffels, and these accessories. So if that don't tell you I still have a love for stand-up, I stopped a long time ago. I could be like, I don't need to do stand-up anymore. But I love it. I just happen to have a side hustle that ended up turning me into an entrepreneur and an owner. So this is my part of the show where I'm anybody that's listening to think outside the box. Yes, man, being African Americans and black, hey, man, one stream of income is cool, but if you can do other things, why the fuck not? And I'm sorry that I was so long-winded.
No. I my jealousy is just boiling up as we speak. I appreciate it. It just, man, makes you wonder, what am I doing with my life, my accessories? I'm a basketball coach.
Yeah, you have no accessories.
No, Alex, I really thank you for taking the time. I know you're ready to get into the golf course, and you deserve all of your success.
Alex, hey,
Yes.
I know you got one of them used bags. Let me have it.
No. Hey, Alex, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Poetess, we have time to ask him a quick question? Yeah. Okay, you don't have nobody else. I wanted to ask you a quick question about the Dave Chappelle situation. What's your thoughts on that?
And I wanted to say something about what Alonzo Bodden said, man. First of all, I came up with Dave from the beginning. There's pictures on the internet, nigga. It looked like we were in third grade together, right? So I've seen this guy's entire career. What bothers me now is now all of a sudden there's the joke police, right? Yeah, they've always been around, but now we're in this politically correct world. I'm trying to give you the long story short because I'm about to get off. I love the fact that that man has stood up for us, our culture, and all of us stand-up comics, because it became a fucked up feeling to have to get on stage and feel like you're on pins and needles. Now, I can understand people that have malicious intent. I can understand when you're saying, real harsh words and there's hate behind it. No, man. At the end of the day, it's comedy. You laugh. We cannot please everybody. Every time we get on a stage, if there's 100 people in the room tonight at the J Spot, I could just hope that the majority of people like me. At least 75 people are like, hey, man, I might say something to 4 or 5 people. I cannot be concerned with the people that don't love and like what I'm saying. Now here's the flip side. We understand, I'm going to just use the word they. They run Hollywood now. And that's all them alphabets and the letters, right? So if you want to continue to work, you got to watch what you say, because they run it. I love that Dave is so rich and so huge that he can truly say, F you. I've been doing this for 40 years of my life, and all of a sudden you're going to tell me what I can and can't say? F you. And there's nothing you could do about it. What Alonzo Bodden said when he said, but what happens if they say it? Here's the thing. I would say this to Alonzo, and I tell you, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Not one of them is as huge as Dave Chappelle. So in other words, yeah, there's probably some transgender comics out there, but their voice ain't down that stage. The voice doesn't have that sting and that hit. It just hits different when you're as huge as Dave is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Hey, I wanted to. Okay.
I'm happy that he said what he said, and I encourage all comics to state, man, if you think the shit's funny, man, get up there and say it.
Hey, I had a quick question because you have kids, and I guess you can answer it or not. This whole vaccine thing, because you have kids who are young, would you get them the vaccine? Would you let them take the vaccine?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. The vaccine thing, I don't, any of my interviews or anything I talk about, that's one thing I don't talk about, because I have a very, very strong opinion on that with me, my family, and my children. And I don't even want it to be taken wrong. Alex Thomas said this, and how did he do that, and da-da-da-da-da. All I'm saying is, to each his own on the vaccine. And you got to be careful regardless. Come on, man. There's people that have been vaccinated and still died.
No, I'm with you.
People that are vaccinated that have still caught the shit. So you can't sit there in my face and go, oh, because if you're vaccinated, this and that's going to happen. Nope, that's false.
Cool. Hey, real quick, who do you miss the most, and who is no longer with you, personally or comedic-wise?
Well, comedically, man, obviously, I only got to meet him one time, and he's the greatest of all time. He's the greatest to ever touch a mic. He's the greatest. I mean, I wish I could have really been in a room to watch Mr. Richard Pryor. He's the GOAT to me. I saw him perform one time live, and it was 6 months before he died. And I was at the Comedy Store, and I just really wish that I could have seen him. I heard Alonzo bring up 2 names, which are great. I was very cool with Patrice O'Neal, and he was super, super funny, and he was super, super clever, and I appreciated his comedy. And also, I can go on and on, but really, Bernie Mac and also Paul Mooney, they were legends, They made their mark in this game, and I feel like all those guys will be never, ever forgot but always missed, because they made a staple in this game before us.
Well, thank you, man.
They all rest in peace.
Thank you. You have a great game today, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate that, man. Take care.
Yes,
Be safe.
sir. And Buddy Lewis, is Buddy Lewis still there?
Yes, he is.
Of course I am.
Buddy Lewis,
Yes,
what
sir.
time tonight?
2 shows, brother. 8, 10:30. So get there when you get there. Just get there around 8:30 or so. I look forward to seeing you. We're gonna have some fun tonight.
I'll see you, man. I love you both, man.
It's gonna be me, you, Derek Ellis, D-Lay. We're gonna have some fun.
Absolutely.
All right, see
Okay,
you there.
brother.
I'll see you tonight. I love you both, man.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Bye.
All right, later.
That was nice, your buddy. We got someone else who I know you're gonna love. He's lined up, Mr. George Wallace.
Oh God.
George Wallace, you there? Okay.
He got that cheap ass phone.
Huh? Unmute your mic, George.
Yeah.
Unmute your mic. George Wallace.
What is your old ass?
That's Buddy Lewis calling you that.
You damn right.
Hey, we can't unmute your mic. We can't hear you, George.
Can nobody hear you?
Unmute your mic.
Maybe if you talk about his mama, his mic will come on.
Unmute your mic.
That's
Okay, we can hear you chewing.
I know you can hear me chewing now. Listen, I'm old, so I don't know how to do this new technology stuff. I don't know what happened there, but I'm here with you. Buddy Lewis called me old because he knows we're born on the same day, you know?
Hey, George, what's that backdrop? Is that Atlanta behind you?
That is not Atlanta. Take another look at it, son. There's only one park like that in America. Buddy Lewis, tell him what that is. That is Central Park, New York City. I'm at home in my house.
Okay,
Oh.
he's in New York.
Oh, okay. But
I can't see the
Are you
picture,
in New
George.
York or you live in New York?
I live in New York. I live in Los Angeles. I live in Atlanta, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I live where the hell I want to live.
Well, that's fair.
I'm mean. I'm old and mean.
Well, you're also a graduate of University of Akron, Ohio. Is that true?
That's right. That's where LeBron James was born. Also, Steph Curry was also born in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm both of their daddies.
Well, first of all, George, I want to thank you for taking the time to. I know you're busy, because when I sent George a text, he said that he was his baby's mama was delivering a baby. His baby.
No, I didn't. I said my mom was having a baby.
Oh, your mama.
My mom was having a baby.
You talk about Miss Mary Lou?
You Miss Mary Lou? May Lou. Come on, get it. We from the country, man.
Who's she giving birth to? Benjamin Buttons?
No, Mary Lou and George Sr., they're having a baby, huh?
They're having a baby. Yes. And we don't know what it is. They're a boy, girl, because it's a new day and they got a new thing called gender. You got to wait and let the baby decide what it wants to be.
That's funny you say that, because that's what my daughter said when I asked her if her and her partner were having a baby and if they were going to have a boy or a girl. She says we don't go with gender, Dad.
Listen to me. I heard that, and I'm going like, what are you talking about? I'm just going, well, it's a new day. It really is a new day, is it not?
Yes, it is. It is. And how has that adjustment been for you? Because you've never really been a comic that says things that you shouldn't say. You've always just said funny things.
Well, I try to say funny things. I think that is my job, is to say funny things. If I do say something that's social-wise, I should end it with a joke. Mm-hmm. And that gets me out of anything. So I'm not too, I'll never embarrass anybody. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, because you come from an era where, I mean, man, you were coming up with Jerry Seinfeld and, I mean, these David Letterman. I mean, these guys all of you guys were at the top of your game. How did you fit in with that group? Because it wasn't too many African Americans on those circuits with those guys. Did you feel
comfortable? Wasn't that group, it was us. You know, Seinfeld and I started together 1976, and to this day we're still best friends after 45 years. Matter of fact, I just got off the phone with him. But when we grew up, we only had like 3 channels. Buddy might know about this, and so we were strict to have did you call it clean comedy? Because your goal was to get on the Tonight Show.
Yep,
got it.
That was
with Johnny Carson, okay?
Okay.
So I accomplished that goal, but I did find something later. Johnny Carson didn't really care for us.
Really? Okay. He didn't really care for us.
No, you think about it. Red Fox, I think Red Fox never hosted the show. I think he was on only like one time, and he came because he was shooting next door. He came on and just walked on the set as a guest spot. Mm-hmm. But if you look over, most of the blacks that he had on, he had to have Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy was a part of NBC, okay?
Got it.
But if you look back in the day, why the hell would Red Fox not be on the show?
Right.
Yes.
Red Fox was the #1 show. I was with Shirley Hemphill when she went to do the show. What's Happening was the #1 show on TV with ABC, and she got bumped by some other. And Shirley Hemphill said, I was there with her. She said, "Fuck Johnny Carson," and walked out. But at the time, I did not know that. But now that after living for a while, you learn people say he really didn't care for y'all. And if you look through history, you see, of course, Richard Pryor was on, of course,
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby and Sammy Davis Jr., because they were a part of the clique. They were already big shots. So they came in. But as far as young Black comedians, name one. Eddie Murphy is the only one went over to the bench, I think. Franklin John may have gone over later. Yes. But it was kind of like Joe. It was a Black man with white hair named Joe White, I think his name was. And it was Johnny Carson's favorite singer. He would never bring him over to the sofa.
Wow. Yep. Now, you were, I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were Jerry Seinfeld's best man at his wedding, right?
Well, I'm actually the real George. I was Jerry's roommate for 13 years. I'm the George that was his real roommate. And that's right, I was best man in his wedding, and I'm the father of his kids. So
wait a minute, hold up. You and Jerry Seinfeld were roommates for 13 years?
Yes.
So this is why you guys were grinding. So you guys were struggling, well, for lack of a better word.
Well, I never struggled because I was always into money. I was before a comedian, I was vice president of the world's largest outdoor advertising agency. And I'm looking out of my window right now down Times Square. All of the billboards, all of the spectacles at billboard, all the spectacles at Times Square, all the 5,000 buses in New York City. I was vice president of that company, Douglas Lee. And so I've always made money, but my ultimate goal since 6 years old was wanting to be a comedian. And I never thought about it. I just knew I was going to do fine in it. And never thought about going to being on top of the mountain. I just wanted to work Las Vegas and conquer that city, and I did it.
So you did that.
Oh yeah, now I was told, I don't even know, maybe it might have been by you, the fact that your advertising background came in handy when you did a residency in Vegas.
Yes, I did. Well, I knew how to advertise. I know how to go in and say to the advertising companies, I'm going to buy 6 boards, and you're going to, why don't you give me 6? Because people will follow my patterns. I'm the first one in Las Vegas to put 5 trucks back to back to back to back to back to back going down the street. And people say, why the hell would you put all those trucks back to back to back to back to back going down the street? I said, you asked about it, didn't you? So wow. I created that awareness and that attention there. So people follow my pattern. I know a lot about advertising. I know they have empty boards, and I know how to deal with them and ask for bonus boards. If you came to Las Vegas back in the day, I had more billboards in Las Vegas than anybody.
Yes, you did.
Any hotel, any group. And so I made Las Vegas. I had to go and I had to walk the streets. I had to talk to the timeshares. Your name doesn't get you over in Las Vegas. You've got to know the business. You've got to know timeshares. You got to know the ticket brokers. You got to know the community. And especially as an African-American, I'm still old, so I say Black. You know, a Black act cannot survive in Las Vegas unless you have a crossover.
Right. And
it's been proven many times. And I worked the city, and I went there for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and I wound up being there for 10 years on the first run. And then I went back in 2018. I worked for another 3 years until the COVID hit us. So I worked Las Vegas. I've done more shows in Las Vegas than any African American. That includes Red Fox, Sammy Davis Jr., Dana Ross. I broke a record, so I'm proud to do that. And like I say, I didn't work for the hotels. I own the shows.
Oh, okay. And that, has things changed advertising wise? I'm sure they have with the modern day comics. And you see them being able to do it a different way? Is it better? Is it worse? Or where does that fall?
It's a combination of all. You know, it's something. I'm old school, and so we basically had the billboards. We had radio and television. That doesn't get it now. I'm so proud of the young comedians, and I should be doing more. But I've worked and I made a lot of money. I'm very comfortable. I should be doing more, and I will start to do more. You got to do that social media. You know, I got a book out about tweeting. I should take my tweeting and just go straight to Instagram and or TikTok, and I love them both. I love them both. It's a new way. It's a new day. You take guys you don't even know, like Country Wayne down in Georgia. These guys are packing places out, and nobody knows who they are except you're on social media.
Right. But people say in the comedy world, we say what I've heard is that these guys can pack the room, but they can't really entertain for 45 to an hour and 10 or 15. That they're
That's what you've
actions.
heard. They couldn't when they first started, but guys like Country Wayne, he's holding his own. You grow into it. Once you, your market is there for you. So people like us, we know comedy when we see it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the new comedians, they're not necessarily into jokes like we were. They will tell stories about their lives. They may get one laugh. Well, let's take, I don't want to bring his name up, but let's just take Dave Chappelle as a great example.
Okay.
He might have one laugh in a minute.
Okay.
And with his social media, social stance, where you got a guy like me and you and Buddy, we're trying to have a laugh at least every 20 seconds.
Right.
That's our school, you know.
Got it. Now,
But it's a different system today. The young kids are doing it differently. Some are doing it with the same formula we have, but there's a new technique that they're doing, and sometimes we look back and we'll go, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Right.
Exactly.
Now I've heard that you've turned a lot, like certain sitcoms you've turned down because you didn't want to travel. So you're that comfortable, excuse me.
I'm very comfortable. I did it my way. I'm blessed, you know, like I said, my ultimate goal when I started as a comedian, I wanted to work Las Vegas, and I went there and I did it. And you know, at the Flamingo, 750 seats every night. We didn't sell out every night, but man, we did very, very well as a young entertainer. And I brought in people. I broke some rules. I didn't break rules, but I created monster shows. Like I'm the first person to have. You guys might be old enough to remember Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I had him for first time in 26 years on a stage. He was at my show in Las Vegas, and you can go online and find it if you like to. George Wallace, Sly and the Family Stone with George Wallace. The original group, everybody, Cynthia on the horns. Wow. I had it in Las Vegas, and the odds were 40-1 that they would not show up.
And they,
did you bet on it? Did you bet on it, George?
Hell no, because I knew. Hey, listen,
you know Sly.
But buddy, I knew he was there because I brought him in. I had to have all the switches, all the rooms for the band. But he was still late. He was still 20 minutes late coming to the stage. Hey, buddy. People were walking out with people going, "This is bullshit." You know, I brought him to the show, but I'm smart enough. I opened the show, right? Because that's Sly and the Family Stone. And so people walking out, I'm going, so let me do another 20 minutes until he comes downstairs. So people walking out, at least 10 people going, "There's some bullshit." I knew it was some bullshit. I knew he wouldn't show. But when he walked out on that stage, the place went crazy. And people were crying. His kids were crying because he hadn't been on stage in 26 years. That was after they did the Grammys. Remember, he did the Grammys. And he had the blonde hair, and he walked off, and people were going, "What was that all about?"
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he did my show.
I came to your show, George.
Original song. You came. I know you
I've been in your show several times.
Yeah, I went to
greatest. I mean, you know, they talk about Cirque du Soleil and all that BS out there, but George Wallace's show was incredible. Oh, yeah. It was incredible, and I mean.
Thank you.
I had a ball in there. I one night because I came several times, George. I remember one night I was like, "That's all right. I'm finna get it started." I started talking about, "Hey, shut up, George, your mama." George went off for the next 30 minutes.
Now, hey, buddy, I was good then, but if you do it now, man, I'm gonna be stuck, man. You can.
You a lie, George Wallace. You are so talented, man.
Right.
You ain't gonna never be stuck when it comes to comedy, bro.
I've watched you do it. Because after this COVID thing, I'm sitting around now. You know, I watch a lot of TV now. I'm learning a lot, and I have a love-hate relationship with people that have a job better than mine.
Hilarious.
You know, like Judge Judy. I just wake up sometimes. I just get pissed at her. She's mad for no reason at all. But I'm going, man, that's $47 million a year. That's a pretty good job. You can be pissed at anybody, right?
Wow.
And I talk a little bit about her. And another guy that has a great job is the guy that works for her, Bird, right?
Right.
Bird. I know Bird.
He don't do a damn. He came to my show, man. He don't do a damn thing. He just went, "All right." and then he walks over and takes the paper and takes it to Judge Judy, and he takes it right back over.
That's so funny.
Now, and there's some black people angry at Judge Judy right now because she has a new show and she didn't bring Bird along. And I said, you guys shouldn't be mad. Bird has been working for, 25 years?
25 years, yeah.
Yeah, so he's made a lot of money. And you know, show business, they make changes out there. And sometimes it's not Judge Judy's decision. It could be Sometimes they want freshness on the show.
Right.
And the ageism still plays a game, trust me.
Right.
Now, George, I wanted to ask you because I read something. Now,
Ask me anything because I talk too much, man. I won't
no,
talk
no,
anymore until
no,
you
no,
finish.
no. You can talk. No, but I was going to ask you in reference to the mama jokes because I know, unfortunately, that you lost your mom when you were 16 years old. Is that a part of why you're so into that, just having fun with mamas and that perspective of it? How does that? Is that
Let's make
connected
one
at
thing
all?
perfectly clear. My mom died at 16 years old because I was late for school and she woke me up and she was whipping me and said, "Get up, get up, get up." And I shot her.
No.
So, hey, I swear to God, this is so much fun talking to you two guys because, all I do is lie. I just make up stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just love to lie. So, when I shot my mom, my dad was pissed off. My dad was pissed off, so I had to shoot him too. But let me tell you something. The mama jokes is when I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, that was
What you had to
I don't know where that come from. You mentioned the word bullying. I think bullying back in my day, I think that made us stronger than we ever were, just made us a strong kid growing up. Because if you had anything wrong with you, if you had a different look, they're going to be on your ass in school. It doesn't matter,
Right.
And then they talk about your mom. And I love talking about the desert. And it's just, I was good at it. And I was, when they started, Arsenio Hall and I started it back on his show. And I was already into it. I said, oh. And so we just went crazy. And then Will Smith said something about my mama. Then Will Smith came on the show one day. I was there and I said, and Will Smith is here talking about my mama, and Will Smith is going. she was there with him.
Oh, his mom?
Yeah.
That's even better.
I never will forget. I said, Will Smith, your mama teeth are so crooked. She got a job at Home Depot making keys. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And then I think I said something. Talk to him. That's when I come up with the joke. I'm your real daddy, Will, or something like that.
Oh,
to
my
this
God.
day, his mom and I are good friends. But I love the dozen. They call it the dozen. They call it Jonah. You guys know it. And,
Exactly.
And I studied it. And then when we started, buddy, it was basically the same jokes everybody had. But in this day and era, we had to get new.
Yeah.
We had to come up creative.
And George, I thought, you know what, man? I originally thought that was something you did because it was something that happened when you worked clubs in the hood. Right. You get hecklers. Right. People would heckle you. And I thought George had proficiently become, good at that from being heckled. And I was like, man, George is just freaking hilarious with it. You know what I mean? He's just good with it. And man, when you and goddamn J. Anthony Brown used to go, oh man, hey bro, listen, one day, man, y'all were going at it on the radio. I was in DC. It was like homecoming weekend in DC. I had to pull over. Buddy, let me write that joke down because that's a good joke. People saying stupid stuff. Yeah, people will come up and say stupid stuff like that. I had to pull over. You know damn well your ass didn't pull over. Yes, I did. I pulled over, George, because I was laughing and I was about to run into the back of these people. I pulled over, dude. I sat there because and the radio was sketchy, so I didn't want to miss.
Right.
Right. Well, we enjoyed that, and to this day, Jay was just up here visiting me in New York last week, and to this day, we're best friends, and people say they think we don't like each other, and sometimes we tell each other what to say about each other's mama.
Right.
Wow.
And I did my last best joke I did. I'm gonna do it again this year. I like to go Christmas shopping for Jay's mom, and I didn't know what to get her, but I did know she likes the outdoors. She likes camping and hiking and stuff like that. So I didn't know what to do. So I went down to that sporting goods store. There's one called is Rick's. Is it Rick's Sporting Goods?
No, it's
Dix.
It's Dix.
Dix. That's the one. Dix. She loved Dix. Let me tell you something. His mama, if you can't find anything, you can't bring a bag with Dix on it. A bag of. Oh my God, his mama loved anything from Dix. You just get a Dix, man. Just go down there. And it's an extended bit, but you have to continue to rewrite and write jokes
now
of the day.
When you gonna be back in LA, George?
I'm coming to LA. I have a new show. I'm putting together now with Norman Lear. Norman Lear is 99 years old, and we just we got a new deal with Sony.
Okay.
And you know, like I said, I never wanted to do TV. I never wanted to be in movies, anything like that. I just got it because it came along the way. But now that I've experienced, I'm going to do a TV show, and it's called Clean Slate with Norman Lear. And it's about, I wanted to reboot Sanford and Son. I just really wanted to hear the music. Me, Sanford and Son. See,
hysterical. Well, I want to be Grady. So when you do it, man, I want to be Grady. I want to be your Grady.
So, Grady's dead. So you'll be Grady.
Well, I'll be Lamont, your son.
Yeah, my son. Well, let me tell you what's happening. So we decided, and I had a meeting with Norman. He said, "No, you can't do that. Do you?" So I was having dinner with a friend of mine, and he has 2 kids and 2 twins, right? A boy and a girl, but the boy never identified as a boy from day one. And I was telling Dan, I said, "Oh my," I said, "Well, you got to love that kid no matter what, Dan. You just that's still your kid, be it whatever." And the kid knew that he was a girl. He's always identified as that. And a light bulb went off in my head, whatever went off in my head. What if I had a son that grew up and left home like most kids leave home for a parent of child abuse or drugs or whatever? Went to New York for 30 years, came back, knocked on my door, said, "Dad, it's me." I said, "Me who?" He says, it's me. And turned out to be my son had transgendered into a lady. And that is Laverne Cox. So we're going to have some fun.
Oh, that's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
So as an old man, I've got to be educated just like Red Fox going. And first of all, I slammed the door in the face. I did all the things a negative black man would do, because a black man back in the 50s would what? His job was
everybody had that old uncle that had no filter.
Yes.
No filter.
Exactly. That's who I am. And I just, I'm old and I'm from Mobile, Alabama. That's where the setting is. And it's like, I don't understand. I need to be educated. Right. Plus, America needs to be educated.
For sure.
And eventually, she was into the house, and we got to talk about different things. And I had to learn how to love her and appreciate who she is for what she is. We even have a tip jar in the house. Every time I call her a him, I got to put $1 in the jar, and the jar just fills up. But as we live,
it starts
freaking
hilarious.
Because we started. And guess what? We're going to take it to the black church.
Oh.
And people are going, my real name is Henry, so that's a character name. And people in the church going, "I didn't know Henry had a daughter." Henry didn't know he had a daughter either.
Wow.
I'm going to have her running for mayor. She may not become mayor, but at least she creates the awareness in the city. A lot of people need to be educated. Kids left home for drugs. So we're going to tackle a lot of problems, what's going on in America today.
Watch this, Lewis. Hey, ain't nobody care about that shit, George. Listen, I have a show at the J Spot every Friday night. I need you to come do it.
Listen, not only do I not like Jay, I don't like you, or I don't even like Jay. I don't like DJ Spot. One thing about DJ Spot, I don't know about but they got some good fried fish over there. It's some good fried fish at the J Spot.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you that.
Yeah, they do.
Yes,
they do.
So, buddy, when I come to town, I will definitely come over to the J Spot.
Man, I look forward to you, man. We're gonna let you come down there and do your thing.
You ain't gonna let me do nothing. When I own the place, remember, it's got Jay's name on it. I'm coming in, and guess what?
Okay. Yes.
Guess what, Lewis? I still got my yellow pad.
Oh, do you? Hey, I have mine too. Yeah, I have
shit.
mine too.
I see you.
Yeah, I have
and
mine
I tell you
too.
what, I gotta talk about this too. I wrote a book. I have a new book called Bull Twit.
Oh, okay.
You know that, Bull Twit and whatnot. So I'm in the Twitter world, and I'm pretty big in the Twitter world. I was voted the top 25 funniest tweeters in the world by Rolling Stone magazine.
Yes.
So you need to go online and follow me at Mr. George Wallace. It's about little things that I teach people to educate people. And it's stupid things off my head. Like I'm teaching people today, little things I think about. Like, did you ever think about had President Lincoln gone to the Chevy Theater, he'd still be alive today? Little things like that, Hey, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Buddy, we were so poor in Atlanta. These things are in the book. Little things about we were so poor when we grew up. My dog could only afford one rabies. That's all he had.
It wasn't plural. It was rabi.
A rabies, whatever.
One rabies.
We were so poor. Lewis, watching television in Atlanta, we were so poor we could only get Sanford. We never knew there was a son. Somebody mentioned son earlier. We never knew that. That's all. We knew about Gladys Knight. Nothing about Pip.
Hey, George, I wanted to. It's something interesting about you that I've noticed, and it's personal. I'm sure it's with everyone else. But you always embrace us, and it seems like he does that with all the comics. Like everyone has your real phone number, you respond, and is that something that's who you are, or because someone did that for you? Why is that a part of who you are?
That goes back to George and Mary Lou Wallace. We're real people. I just love people, and my job is to make people happy. When I see happy people, it makes me happier. I just love people, and I think it's easier to be nice than it is to be nasty. I just love people, man. So when I meet you guys, we're on the same team. There's not that many there's a lot of comedians now, but this little fraternity that we're in is pretty tight and it's pretty rough, as you can see what happens to us. So when I meet people in my college class and my peers, I consider you guys my peers. I don't care how old you are, how young you are, if you're doing good and you love what you do, man, I'm living my dream right now. You know that?
Oh, sure.
I'm living my dream. And I tell you what, if I never God has blessed me so much, so abundantly so. I mean, if he never does another thing, you've heard that phrase. I mean, I'm good, man.
Well, I wanted to say thank you, because it means a lot to me. I mean, because we were just grinding, and someone like George Wallace would take the time to call, say hi, and actually mean
Talk
it.
to you.
Yeah. So I wanted,
I'm getting ready to hang up, though. I'm getting ready to hang up.
Well, before I let you,
your time is winding up.
Okay, wait.
You know I ain't got nothing to do. You know I'm lying. I ain't got a damn thing to do.
Before I let you go, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on the whole Dave Chappelle Netflix thing.
I don't have a thought on it. You know what? I'll let it go because it doesn't matter. I can't piss anybody off by it. My thought on that is, I think if you make people happy, you do everything, and you make people happy. That's my job, is to do everything with a joke. And I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's one of the best of all time. He's up there on the list. You know, name-wise, he's bigger than Richard Pryor with this new market that he has, you know?
Right. Okay. Now, you knew Richard Pryor, right? Yeah, you wrote on Sanford and Son and during that period with Richard Pryor and all of them, right?
Well, I wrote on Sanford. Red Fox had a show after Sanford and Son for ABC. It was called the Red Fox Hour.
The Red Fox.
Okay.
So I wrote on that show. I did not write with Richard and Paul.
But you knew all of those guys, right? How was that generation? Like George Carlin and all of them?
George Carlin, he might be one of the smartest comics. I tell you what you do. George Carlin had a book called Brain Droppings.
Brain Droppings.
I think I read about 4 pages, and I just put it down because if you think you got a new subject matter, a joke, don't read that book.
Because he's done it.
Oh, really?
Mr. George Wallace is going to write a joke. Why do they always say operators are standing by? They're not standing by, they're sitting. It's in the book. Okay. It's in the book. He hit every subject, man. George Carlin was amazing. So being around those guys, and especially like Richard Pryor, that was a group at the Comedy Store. You guys know them. That was a group at the Comedy Store. Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison, Robin Williams, and a whole group like that. They always hung out in the back of the Comedy Store. I have never hung out with I've never been influenced anywhere around drugs. If you got drugs, I'm gone, okay? There was another group in front of the store, Dave, Letterman, Seinfeld, Leno, Gary Shandling. We didn't do it. So that was the front of the store crowd and the back of the store crowd. So I just never got to, I'm pretty sure I could have been closer to Richard, but I just didn't want to get involved in the drugs.
Good for
Never
you.
did it. I don't even like getting drunk, you know?
Good for you. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. I asked the question of people that famous people you would like to have dinner with. Anyone that's gone that you would like to sit down and...
Sure, I'll have dinner with you, George.
I definitely was going to say Buddy Lewis. Going to take his ass to Chick-fil-A and get him a chicken sandwich.
As long as I get some Polynesian sauce, we good.
I'm so blessed. I knew Muhammad Ali. I think I would still like to. Now, you're talking about a great comedian?
No, anyone. Comedian, historian, historical person.
No, I'm talking about Muhammad Ali. He's a great guy that I wish I could.
Funny.
And I did know him. And he was just as nicer than me. He would talk to anybody. And so I would like to have dinner with him. Who else? I haven't eaten with Trevor Noah yet, in the young school. I like to meet and have dinner with him, coming from South Africa. I know Oprah. Man, I had a name in my head 3 days ago, and I just forgot it. But if I could, Dr. Martin Luther King, of course, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm from Atlanta. I was at his funeral.
Oh, okay. What was that like, being at his funeral?
That was amazing. And we just found a photo of me at the funeral. Somebody was telling me, I said, I was at that funeral. I was across the street. I was sitting on a pole. It wasn't a telephone pole, but it was next to the pole. And everybody, well, you wasn't at that damn funeral. I'm going, yes, I'm from Atlanta. My aunt lived across the street from Dr. King on Auburn Avenue. And so we were looking at all these photos, and I said, that's that person, that's that person. And somebody had a shot, because the photographers, I didn't know they were shooting outward from inside the church.
Right.
Boom, they showed me the picture, and I couldn't talk for a minute. I was crying. I'm going like,
wow.
That's me on the pole.
Wow.
Wow. You started on the pole way back then? Amazing, George, because I came to your show in Vegas. You was on the pole too. You are a regular, just super. I didn't know you had been doing the pole that long, George.
Hey, Lewis.
Yes.
Lewis, let me tell you something about comedians. I don't give a damn who gets to laugh. That shit is funny. I don't care who gets to laugh. I'm the one taking the check home. Now, let me tell you something. Hey, buddy.
Yes,
buddy,
sir.
You still on the pole. You still on the pole.
Hey, George.
Shaking that ass.
George. Hey, George, I truly appreciate you taking the time, and I hope I can call you back again.
Shaking that ass. Show me what you're working with. Oh, yeah, so many things. I got taking the time. I'm sitting here writing jokes now. I got to do a show down in, I got to do television in a few minutes with the Black News Channel. But I'm writing jokes now about so many things that happened in the last year. I got to make this funny because so many changes have happened, with the pandemic, and my grooming is terrible. But you should see my feet. My feet are jacked up, so I got to go to Home Depot and get some sandpaper, a chisel, and a jackhammer on my feet. And on the other hand, in the last few months, a man has had a baby in the last year. And I just think all of that is just so cool, man. So I gotta make jokes about all of this stuff.
Well, we're gonna appreciate reading. At Mr. George Wallace, can you hold the book up one more time for us?
I got the book. The book is called Bulltwit. Go online. It's georgewallace.net, georgewallace.com, any of them. You will find Bulltwit. Get the book, and it's coming directly to me. I did not do Amazon this time because, as you know, Amazon takes half your money. But I decided, let me try it this way. And I also have 50% off on the second book if you laugh it off. It's so important to keep laughter in your life, okay?
Hey, George, if I buy those books, you going to sign them for me when you come to L.A.?
Hell no. You know I can't write my name.
Just put an X.
That's your name.
Hey, thank you so much, George, for joining us in the Man's World, man. Appreciate it. Love you.
I love you, George Wallace.
George Wallace says, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
See ya. See you later. Wow.
You're too nice.
All right, George.
Punk ass. Hey, we still on?
Yeah.
Hey, man, let's do this again. I appreciate you so much. Okay?
I will, definitely.
All love, George Wallace.
Yes, we will. We will. Wow.
That fool's crazy.
So that was great. I mean, Alonzo Bodden.
What did you have me here for, Lewis, with all this talent? What'd you bring me here for?
Well, let me be honest with you. I'm glad you brought that up because we used to do a show called In a Man's World, and it was so Chris just said give him 5 minutes. Chris Spencer's going to call in. But no, what happened was it used to be TDP and Jeff Arnold.
Right.
So we used to have In a Man's World.
Okay.
So what happened was we were doing it here, and then we got in our feelings and thought we were better and left, and things just went downhill.
Right.
So then we begged to come back, and so she let us back, POTUS, and I was like, great. So then I checked with TDP and Jeff, say, hey, let's go, we're doing it, and they said, no, we don't want to do it.
Oh, so you like Ice Cube with NWA? You left all the
yeah. So I start thinking of talent that I could call, and then I'm
Jesus.
like, it takes. I mean, so
and I'm making all the dough.
So no. So I was thinking, I was going to ask you afterwards if this is something you would be welcome to do, and we do it every Friday, 11 to 1.
Okay.
I would love for you to replace them because everybody's replaceable.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, that is in the NFL and the NBA, you find that out every week when somebody gets hurt. That somebody got to step in there.
And both of them are more than welcome to come back, but I would love for you to, and then you would stay. And then I don't think, Jeff, I don't know. Jeff has no reason not to come. Jeff has no reason not to come, so I don't understand it. But he did text me and say, hey, good luck. I hope he reconsiders, because that would be great with Jeff, me, and you. And
I'm not even gonna mess with that, Lewis. You are too funny.
No, this isn't a man's world. We're just honest about our what we can do and what we, because men need to hear. It's a lot of men out there who don't hear real conversations that men have.
This is true. And Lewis, I would you know what? We're gonna talk about that. That's I'm gonna consider that very highly. But I just have a lot of I have some road dates and things, and so I want to be honest that my situation is.
Well, we'll mark out the dates. You can be
okay.
And then because Dan and Green is on standby.
Oh, please.
And he's
listen.
he's
can
not
do better.
I know. And it's certain people who I'm thinking about.
Man,
but
how you have a master's degree and still sound dumb?
I know Dan and Green tries, man. But it was. You know what it was? He fell into that hole when he did Popeye's Chicken. He thought it was a rap.
Yeah, he thought he was gonna be super. He thought he was gonna be like what's the girl from Progressive? He thought he was gonna be the Chicken Man.
No, he told me that. He said that
he
was gonna be the spokesperson, but then they found the girl. The girl took his place because at first he was
Chicken Boy.
He was Chicken Man. He was doing the few. He was
Chicken
rolling.
Man.
And then
I love Danny, man. If you hear any of this, I'm messing with you, man. Don't be calling me all in your feelings, all right?
Well, some kind of the whole thing.
I was gonna be Biscuit Boy, and then they made me. And you shut up, Buddy Lewis. I was gonna be Mr. Poppin' Chicken. I was gonna be Mr. Chef Danny.
Now he's one of you.
He's my frat brother.
And you group of guys who golf, right?
Yeah, I golf with Danny. Danny is my pigeon.
Oh, so he's not that.
Oh, Dannon, Dannon will say, I beat Buddy. Listen, man, let me tell you something. I am the gold standard in comedy golf.
Really? Because now Chris Spencer went down to Memphis. He had a show.
Yes.
And he played with my brother.
Yeah.
And he learned what real golfers were.
Yeah. He probably caught a little ass whooping.
Yeah.
Listen, like I said, man, there are a few like I've recently, had some struggles because, as you get older, your game changes a little bit. So all these little Johnny-come-lately ass comics who learn how to play golf, I beat Buddy Lewis. Of course, I'm going through some swing changes right now. So, hey, Tiger Woods don't win them all, bruh.
Like Juan.
Listen, man, there are only about 3 of them that can say, you know what, there are only about 4 or 5 of them that are really, really good.
Now, who is that?
Out of the 4 or 5 people that I know play golf that are really, really good, Flex Alexander is really good.
Okay.
Andre Covington is very good golfer.
Okay.
All the rest of them are me or less. Okay. And then there's me.
Okay.
That's it. Now all of them will talk all this trash about I could beat, but listen. On any given day, any given Sunday, you can lose. Ask the Kansas City Chiefs what happened last week. They got their ass towed down.
Right. Now I don't know if you heard Alonzo Bodden, but he said something that threw me. He talked about getting good advice from Speedy and Cedric the Entertainer. And I'm like, how can that be in the same voice?
I don't know what he was referring to, and the context of what he got information on. Speedy. Now, if Speedy was given information on children, how to either raise or avoid them,
right?
Then Speedy is definitely a source of wealth, a dearth of information.
Now, my understanding is Speedy lost weight.
Some,
because he's been on this book tour with Jamie.
What? It wasn't a cookbook.
No, Jamie's new book about.
Huh? Oh, he's been bike riding. Is that what his book is about? Bike riding?
No. Jamie is on a book tour.
Okay. Yeah, I know because I see him getting in and off the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the G5
he's so
thing.
much. Yeah, he's Mr. G5 now. Listen.
Why do people who didn't get the plane always pose in front of the plane?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I'm gonna tell you what it is, man. Lewis, there is something to, getting on a private jet. It's really cool, the whole process and getting on. But the problem a lot of these people have is it's not your jet.
Right.
It's not like they were coming for you.
Right.
It's not like they were picking. You are a piggyback extra bag. You are the extra bag.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
like the plane was there to pick up somebody else, and you happen to be like the Amazon package that needs to get there fast. You like
Right.
some medicine.
Right.
You
there
just
you go.
medicine.
Yeah, you're the heart
Yeah,
transplant.
you the heart transplant. You're not really that important.
Well, I mean, I'm shot up. But okay, I wanted to ask you a question.
Ask away. I got an answer.
I've been, you know how sometimes we have jokes in our head that we just don't want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I want to see what you thought about it. I've yet to say it to anyone.
Okay.
So my ex-wife's aunt, who I knew, died. She died a few weeks ago in the Bay Area. And she died in a fire because she fell asleep smoking a cigarette. So I...
Tragedy.
Yeah, so I dropped my son off at the airport because he went up to the funeral. Then I picked him up afterwards, and then we're driving. So I'm like, what most people say, hey, how was the funeral? How did your mom hold up? Did anybody go crazy? You know, how it wasn't. He said, it was cool. And I was like, was it an open casket? And he was like, no, they cremated her. And right away, my brain was like, I'm like, dang, they hit her twice? You know, so I just, and then I just kept piling on, saying more things. I didn't say it to him. I'm just driving, saying this to myself.
Oh shit!
You know, I'm just saying to myself, like, I'm sure she said, like, "Oh, y'all gonna do this to me again?" When they were rolling
twice?
up. Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Really?
So,
we gonna romanticize my ass again? Lewis, we could do this all day. Lewis, that is a funny joke. Did you like the aunt?
yeah, she was cool.
Okay.
I mean, she was cool. She didn't. I mean, Thanksgiving, she couldn't cook well,
Hey,
but we know.
Listen,
See,
hold on. I got a similar story, Lewis.
okay.
So this is the coldest, funniest thing I'd ever heard. So one of my cousins smokes habitually.
Mm-hmm.
She smokes habitually, and her and her husband smoked habitually. They smoke. So, you know, I'm not talking, and she's damn near 70. So he got cancer for the second time and was still smoking. So she sends out a text, you know, to the family, like, would you please pray for us, you know, and make sure, you know. My nephew said the coldest thing, I'm not wasting my prayer on this. If you won't stop smoking, if you're not going to stop, it makes no sense, bro. So I roared. Bro.
Well, is that you?
Yeah, that's
I thought
me.
that was Chris calling in the
No,
studio.
that's
so,
me. I'm sorry. I'm rude and ignorant. I just have my phone on. So yeah, man. So yes, man. Listen, I you know what, we gotta. I'm really. I'm one of those people that Lewis. You know me. My comedy has no edge. I don't. You know. Sometimes I don't. You know. I'm filterless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we used to look to comics to say things we couldn't say. You know, that was what a comic did. He said the unusual, the bizarre, the outlandish to, you know, the shocking, you know, and we cannot allow ourselves as artists, as comics, to fall into this situation where when we say things, we're afraid of the backlash and or if you're not saying things with malice intent, if you're not saying things with vicious malice intent, don't associate my words of humor and try to justify it meaning that I hate this group or that I want to disparage this person, this thing. Because I do this now at shows. I'm like, listen, let me explain, everybody. These are jokes. Mm-hmm. These are jokes. All right. If I get up here and I start talking about chicks that are babies' mamas and they're doing this, that, and other thing, because you happen to be a baby's mama, don't start going, I'm offended.
Right.
I didn't know that about you.
Right.
I'm just up here talking in general. I'm speaking in in the hearsay, in the you know, it's just the what I'm talking about. Don't assume that means I hate babies' mamas, or if I'm talking about like Dave, if he was talking about transgender, and this what made me so upset about the backlash that he's getting. Dave was telling his personal story.
Right.
This is personal life.
Right.
With people. That is a truth that you cannot walk away from. I knew this person. I talked with this person. I ate with this person. I ingratiated myself with this individual. To now come back and associate that with meaning he hates this entire group is wrong.
Right.
It's wrong, and it's not true, and it's unfair. I've been working on this joke too, man. I'm like, you got to understand, in the transgendered community has to understand that people do not hate. I mean, there's some people that hate them or have agreement or disagreements with them. Most people do not.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna say that most people do not. I know I personally don't, but I'm not trying to understand your situation. I'm not trying to be a part of your situation, but I'm gonna tell you, to a person on the outside of your situation, it's different.
Right. Now, it's interesting you say it like that, because like it is in my personal space. My daughter's not transgender, but she is gay.
Right.
She is. I'm still trying to figure out. Mom and I, when we talk to her, she's not bisexual. She has a partner. She's lesbian. She's the female in the relationship, and her partner Laurel is the male part of it. Now,
can you use those gender descriptions?
Well, it's the pronouns. Well, that's the thing. That's okay. I'm going to say that's the.
Okay.
I don't know if I can use the word. That's the beautiful part about it, but that's the beautiful understanding part about it.
Right.
Is getting to learn what's the proper to make you feel comfortable, and we go back and forth, because like I had said before, earlier I had said that I picked her and her partner up from the airport. They came to visit, and the family was going to Hawaii, so they got in the car. So I said, okay, I'm going to talk to them, because they've been together for like 3 years, as if it was a boy and a girl. I'm gonna respect this relationship. So I was like, hey, how you guys? I'm glad you got, because they moved in together, and I'm like, hey, so you guys, when are you thinking about getting married and having kids? Or do you guys want a boy or a girl? And they both were like, well, we're not talking about gender. So then at dinner with the family, we were like, I'm like, well, this is way back when. I'm like, yo, it's gonna be a boy or a girl. So you got to have one or the other, and if it's something else, then y'all gonna make a lot of money, But it's gonna be a boy or a girl. So and then my son jumped in like, no, Dad, you can't ask that. If it's a boy or girl, that's what they're trying to say. I was like, well, you know what? I don't know you guys got to put out a pamphlet, so I'll know what the proper thing is, so I won't offend you.
But see, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm referring to, Lewis. To them. Our confusion with this and our trying to understand it and saying things about it is now a form of hate.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it's not. And I refuse to allow people to say that I hate somebody that's transgender. I tell you, more than anything else, I'm a tad bit confused. I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
And in my figuring it out as a comic, I say things that I think are humorous about the subject. It doesn't mean that I hate transgender people. Like, to make an analogy, I was thinking about this on the way down here. Humans are the only ones that do this. Can you imagine? And please do not call me or have me saying I'm comparing transgender people to pets or cats or animals. I'm just making an analogy. If you see a dog.
Now, see, you can't start.
See,
you can't.
If you see a cat, if you see an animal, right? And I'm just using cats and dogs as cats and dogs.
Okay.
Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about, Lewis. We can't even make comparisons now.
Well, would you want them to make comparisons if it was a black person?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish, Lewis. I'm saying, Humans are the only ones that can do this.
Okay.
Okay? If you see a cat or a dog, and the cat tells you, I'm a dog, that would be confusing.
Well,
that would be confusing.
Especially depending on how the cat explained it to you. If the
Thank
cat
you.
talked.
If the cat talked, and I'm just saying, if cats can talk, you see how ridiculous this is? Do you see how ridiculous I'm getting now? That's what I'm saying. If I'm talking about pets, cats and dogs can talk. Cat comes in and tells you I'm a dog. Or the dog comes in and says I'm a cat. You mean to tell me, as a person, I don't hate my pet? I don't hate this. I don't hate the cat or the dog. I'm trying to figure this shit out.
No, I hear you.
And so if I'm making jokes about it as I'm figuring this out, I don't want Peter and all the cat people, all the dog people to come talking about I hate cats and dogs. I don't.
Right. And no, it is a tough situation. That's exactly why our boss poet plays that disclaimer before we start the show. These are not the views of the Morris Media. Right, because you have to protect yourself from unnecessary confusion or confusion that becomes necessary.
And that's what I'm saying. The situation is confusing. And it's not to say that you hate transgender people or you hate the gay community or you hate. Yeah, as a comic, I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
And my job as a comic is to attempt to make light or make comedy about things we don't understand. That is the crux of what many comics are. We are people that inevitably try to find humor in stuff we don't understand.
True. And before I got a text from Chris Spencer, who Chris Spencer is always doing something else.
Too much.
Whenever he makes it, it depends on who the higher gig is.
I love Chris. He's I'm going to say this. He is probably my best friend in the industry. He does too much. He's almost too much.
Like he said,
you can't talk to Chris because he'll be on his phone. Chris is busy 24/7. He got mad at me because I don't keep my phone on. I'm like, dude, I'm going to get some sleep. I don't have that many deals.
Right. Yeah, he's got a lot of deals. Hey, boss, I wanted to, she looked up like, yes. First, how are you? I was wondering if, this is so awkward because, we're just trying to get her love back because, we left and she's.
Man, POTUS, you know what? You should have called me. I would have came on down here. See, that's your problem right there. You went back, you should have just got some whole new blood.
Well,
but you went backwards.
No, she had people like Al Toomer, so we were
upgrade. Lord have mercy.
We were upgrade anyway. So she'd rather deal with us than something like that. And
you better leave. See, you're gonna have Al Toomer in here outside. Lewis Dix.
Oh, he already called me a coon.
Really, did he?
Yes, at the J Spot when I was hosting one of your things. And you remember the night you put him up? Remember the night?
Yeah, I put him up one night, and then you hosted for me.
Right,
like,
and that was
later. He called you coon.
Coon said I was cooning for the people. And so POTUS, I was wondering if you could play the clip of George Carlin. It's just something I want you to. Now George Carlin was a beast. Everyone knows.
Oh, everybody, and he used to speak truth to power, and he did it.
Yes.
You gotta be fearless, bro.
Yeah, he was.
I remember Cat Williams, man. I saw a Cat special a few years ago, and you got to watch this, man. Cat Williams went in during the Michael Jackson controversy.
Oh, okay.
And nobody said a thing. I mean, when Cat went in, when I say he went in. Mm-hmm. And called Michael Jackson everything, every Peter Pan ass. He went in, right. Mm-hmm. It was funny. It was. Now, did nobody came out and see? This is the issue I have about this whole issue. People pick and choose what they want to complain and be offended about.
Yes,
and I find it very unusual and very highly unusual. And funny that we will jump on and be ready to cancel Black and brown people for their statements, but it's still let's see, it's cachet and it's cool to support a lying, cheating, raggedy ass, lying, conniving ass ex-president that who caused an really almost committed treason. Mm-hmm. And we're still like, we love Trump. Nobody's trying to cancel him. He's thinking about running again. But we're mad because Dave Chappelle said, hey, you know what? You can talk about Negroes, but you can't offend gay people. We mad?
Yeah.
We upset?
You gotta have something to be mad at. I wanted to tell Alex that when you Google someone's name, mm-hmm. There's another Alex Thomas that's an English drummer. He comes up first, and then Alex comes up.
Well, maybe Alex should sell the drummer a bag.
That's amazing. When I had heard that, I was like, wow, good for him. So he's like a few-time millionaire selling.
Hey man, Alex is doing it, man, and he's quietly doing it.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I like about the whole thing is he did it quiet. And he was right. There were a lot of people hating because I'm gonna tell you, Alex, I was like, yo, Alex, these bags are fly. I was like, yo, man, how can I get one? Alex said, how much is this backpack? Because it was, when I tell you that backpack was fabulous, Lewis. It was, mm-hmm. It was like all alligator. It was a fly ass backpack.
And did he design it?
I think Lewis Stewart is the designer, but I think part of Alex's, and I don't know what Alex's, business acumen is with the bags as opposed to being a liaison to get to some of these other people. I'm sure that he might have some design capabilities and, does what he does, but, he knows this is what's happening, so he's giving the guy, this is what's happening in the hood stuff, right? So he brings these bags down, and it was funny as hell. We were all, I think, at the Comedy Union, and he comes in with these bags, and we're all like, shoot, let me get one of those. Hey, Alex, man, when he said, I said, so how much is this one? Because he had like 3 or 4 of them, right? I was like, how much is this black one, man? I love this black one. Out of his mouth, Alex goes, oh, right, okay, buddy, that bag is $2,700. I was like Eddie Murphy in the movie.
Right.
What?
Right.
The 20. Oh, well, I won't be purchasing one of you. And then we all the comics started laughing. Like when he left Lewis, we all like kind of laughing like, I know he's not trying to sell none of that shit to us. Right. Mick, bro, we are on the same payroll you're on. So.
Okay, what? Who, Chris? Who called? Oh, okay, caller. Hey, other than Chris. Hey, caller, how you doing?
How you doing, Lou? How you doing? It's D-Cause, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm so glad you guys are back, man. This is a breath of fresh air, man.
You can say hi to Buddy Lewis.
What's up, brother?
I am. What's up, my brother? I'm actually calling for Buddy Lewis, man.
Oh, that hurts.
Why you playing, Lou?
That hurts. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Buddy. Now, you used to own a comedy club in Ohio, right?
No, I never owned a comedy club. I had started a very good room out in the valley. That was called the Ha Ha Cafe. I helped start a comedy phenomenon in the Valley. Now, if you're talking about, I used to come to a club in Ohio. As a matter of fact, there was a guy that had a club in Columbus, and his name was Andrew Ford. And I used to come do his club. I did his club several times.
Oh, okay. Because Google made it seem like you started out as a comedy, like a comic owner. I mean, a owner of a comedy club.
Yeah, well, the Google is full of trash. They don't know my story. You tell Google I said kiss my ass. Don't be lying on me.
Right on. Hey, I got a real quick question. I'll let you guys get back, man. When is The Outlaw Johnny Black coming out, man?
Oh, great question, man. Great question. That is a film that is a Black Dynamite sort of parody, but it's a Western. Michael Jai White is in the process of finishing, doing the finishing touches on it. The last time I spoke to him, he was looking at sometime, maybe first of the year was like what I heard.
That's what's up, man. I mean, dude, people don't realize your history, man, and you are a comic legend. I still remember the cereal bit you did on Def Jam. Man.
Oh, hell no. That is hilarious. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You guys have a good one, man.
All right, man. You have a great one, man. Hey,
right.
Are you in Ohio?
No. I'm back in Indiana.
Okay. Oh, that's my hometown. That's my home state.
Are you born there?
I claim Gary, Indiana. I was born in St. Louis, but I claim Gary as my raising spot.
Oh,
Gary, I'm surprised you're still alive.
Yeah, well, you know what? It wasn't nearly as bad. It wasn't nearly as bad then as it is now. But Gary, yes, that is my hometown. And the fact that I tell people I'm from Gary, I get that reaction. It gets me out of a lot of trouble. You know, I was in Compton one time and walked up on these two gangsters and they were like, "Yo, give me your stuff." I said, "Yo, man, I'm just a dude from Gary, man." They went, "Oh, bro, look, we don't want no trouble."
Hilarious.
Yeah, man. You remember Gary used to be the capital of the
murder
capital, and I'm like, you know why it ain't no more? Because everybody's dead.
Everybody, listen, it ain't nothing but old people. They ain't carrying no guns. Exactly.
Hey, well, thank you for the call, man. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir, man. Welcome back.
Hey, good to be back. Thank you.
All right.
Wow. So that was, again, see how this works? So I thought he was calling for me, and then he's like, I'm really calling for Buddy. That hurt.
Lewis, like I said, don't be offended. Okay?
No, I'm not going to be offended. I don't think that's a good way to start things off.
Yeah, but it's the best way to start things off.
Listen,
I'm back and I got fans.
Listen, I want to thank Alex Thomas, Alonzo Bodden, George Wallace for taking the time to call in. I want to thank POTUS. Thank you, Buddy. Hope again I see you next week. And to you guys who are out there, Morris Media, thank you for your love. We're going to continue this thing, and hopefully John Lemon will come to his senses. And listen, before I go, I wanted to say comedy is a beautiful art form. I mean, it's tough and it's not made for the fragile. So the ones who don't give up are the artists. So, guys, if you're doing comedy, you take that mic, keep doing it the right way. And love all of you. We're out. Don't forget, it's a man's world every day. Go ahead, you can say something.
Buddy Lewis Jokes on Instagram and Twitter. That's all. I got shows Friday, 8 and 10. Laugh Factory. J-Spot. Manchester, 5581 Manchester. Bye.
Talk to you. Bye. Thanks.